Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at some 3D printed weapons from Top Fun Retro Toys 3D. It is a mouthful. I will leave a link to the website in the description so you can head on down there and order anything that you want. Now, you may have seen some other videos that I've done of his promoting their stuff. He makes really nice weapons at a very affordable price. Now, I know what you consider affordable, what I consider affordable, and what others may consider affordable are completely different. But you have some really expensive ones that make some wonderful stuff, and then you have some people that may make them themselves, and they're not as good, but they're really inexpensive. I think what you're looking for here with the quality you're going to get, you don't have removable magazines, you don't have collapsible stocks and different things like that, so you get a more evenly priced weapon, to be honest, but there's also a lot of world building aspects that you've seen. Also, if you want to get 10% off, you can use my code PUNKWithToys. Just drop the A and you'll get 10% off your entire order. So, what I'm going to do is I have some figures here on both sides. I got some Marvel Legends, I got Skeletron, I got G.I. Joe Classified, obviously, and I got Operation Monster Force. We'll see how some of these weapons look. There's also a really cool backpack, which I'm really excited to get to. But I have all kinds of weapons that we're going to try. I'm not going to say we're going to get through all of them, but we will get through the important ones. And then we have not only the backpack, but we have some pretty cool grenade launchers on stuff along with the blast effect. But let's get to this because this could be a very long video, but I really don't want to make it that long. I want to show you the weapons, show you how they sit in some of these figures' hands, so then you can decide whether or not it's something that you want to invest your money and your time into. But everyone that I know that's met the guy and also ordered his stuff has been really happy with it. But this is for you to decide. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Before we do, if you like this type of content, you like when I give you the 3D printed weapons or some sort of accessory pack, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop weapons. Alright, so here are the weapons that I have. I'm not going to be going over all of them as there's just too many. I'm also not a weapons aficionado, so I don't know the names of all of these weapons, or even probably most of them. For me, I'm trying to find weapons that fit good with specific characters and figures that I like. Okay, I'm sure there are other people. Now this guy, John, he is a former Marine, just recently retired. So these are all based off, almost all are based off real weapons. Quickly though, I want to show you a couple other things that he's done for world building. And this is like this spam set. I've already done a review on it. You know, these are little spam crates. And I think these things are like great for world building. They should still be on his website. He puts a lot of detail into it. He also has these crates of 4 weapons. This here is an AK crate, and every single AK is a little different. But I believe he's done M16 crates, along with obviously the AKs, and I think he's been doing maybe another one too. So these are the types of world building things that you don't see a lot of people doing, and something like this. I know we have crates, but you don't have people that actually create crates that the weapons sit in. This looks really nice when you're doing photography. So, quickly, let's go over just some of this stuff. So here is this is pretty much your eel weapon. I know it's a little bit different, but you can see the design of it. It fits pretty well. He did paint the spear right there. Here's another Navy weapon, or something I would say for like the SEALs, as it kind of has that harpoon right there. But I believe it's like an MP5. Someone might, again, please tell me if I'm incorrect. But if you want something where, hey, these guys are coming out of the water, but they needed something just in case if they get attacked in the water by either an animal or another diver, this might work pretty well for you. Or that could just be, in your opinion, you could maybe cut that off and think that's a grenade launcher. This here, I don't know what this is, but I know that I have a bunch of these in the 1/18 scale for G.I. Joe. So I think this was created just to be that. It might be a real weapon. I'm not sure. This one seems more realistic, as once again, it does have like this harpoon on it, a lot of detail, and you can see that it has a collapsed stock. Now, it does not come out. It does have the scope on it, but the design on it is actually pretty cool, something different. And to me, this is the type of stuff that works when you're creating your world. Again, these are action figures, so again, you kind of do what you want with them. All right, so we have these weapons. I believe these are like the MPs. I always thought these were supposed to be smaller, but I feel like every time someone makes one like this, it's larger. So please, in the description, feel free to let me know if I'm getting the weapons completely wrong. I would assume, with how John is, these are actual size. All right, so they seem pretty big. Here you can see this nice magazine detail. You can see the trigger guard right there. All right, they do have ports for blast effects. Here's a Valorous blast effect, and it does fit in nicely. All right. You can see the iron sights on it. You can see what's supposed to be a collapsible stock. All right, now if you look in the back, a lot of these figures actually have some of these, not these weapons, but the actual Top Fun toys. So I like the way these look. I always love the foregrips here. And that's because when it comes to action figures, it's much easier to get some of them holding it in good poses with these right here. So here's the one of the Joe blast effects. You can see it pops in pretty nicely. But you can see the design on the magazine. Nice grip right there. What's supposed to be a collapsible stock. And this is all the same style weapon right here. Here we have this big old beast here with a giant scope. Perfect for if you're, let's say, creating a custom frostbite. Now when you look at the design here, it looks like the stock is supposed to collapse in on it. You get the foregrip right there. All right, so a lot of nice design to it. Then we're going to get to these smaller weapons right here. And I think that these are absolutely perfect for what you normally see in, let's say, a security guard. And it's got the really small foregrip here. The barrel, let's see here, we can grab this thing right here. So if you have it on fully automatic, it's kind of just spraying right across. There's another one. Now, again, very small foregrip. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be. I would assume yes. But here you can see you got a laser pointer on it, or laser guider. I think that's what that is. You can see the safety switches right there. Actually, that might be the safety switch there. One is probably full round burst, 3 round burst, single. All right, and I believe this is a built-in suppressor. Here's an Operation Monster Force blast effect. So you can see all the blast effects work well if you're into that. And again, a lot of the reason why people are buying 3D printed weapons is due to the fact that they're doing photography and they like different weapons. All right. So another nice looking weapon here. All right. And you can see how the scope is, how the suppressor looks and everything. And again, I know we've seen this weapon before. We kind of cut this off here. I like these ones. To me, these are really simple. Again, very good for a guy like this, or these awesome. If you were able to get any of these, I know most of you guys that watch the channel probably know how much I love these Xaviers. You can find them for 12 bucks when you could. They make an awesome buck, and I know they use this buck for other things, but him just being green and everything works. So you got this nice design here. And again, you can see I have a bunch of them, so I can make different setups. And the longer ones, you know, again, depending on what you're doing with your scene, with your photography, you're gonna like different designs. One thing that John does is that I don't see a lot of people doing this. He makes one design of this, but there'll be, like, if you go to the website, you'll find 5 to 8 different designs of the exact same weapon. You can decide what you want. All right. So here we can see another laser pointer right there, the suppressor, foregrip. So then we get these ones here, these bullpups. Now, I'm not a huge fan of bullpups, I'll be 100% honest, especially with 3D printed, but that's just me. Not that you can't get them to work, but one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, is when you have the magazine stuck behind it, when you're putting pressure on putting their hand in there, you can have a tendency to just kind of bend it a little bit. These are pretty sturdy though. I haven't had too many issues. But here you have a nice handle on it, along with the scope right there. You can see it's on some sort of rail system. Big suppressor. Does have a port for blast effect. I couldn't tell if it did or not. And here we have the big scope. I like this one a little bit more. That's just my opinion. All right. I'm actually coming down to all of these. And then we're going to get some of these and some of these figures so you can see how they look on each and every single company. Here's this. Now, I'll be 100% honest. All these grips here, these 4 grips that they do use, not like these, but a lot of companies are doing it. I hate them. In my opinion, for action figures, they just cannot hold them properly because they're plastic. So I try and avoid a lot of things like this. This one might work a little bit better, but I'm just not a huge fan of that grip up front. It just tends to cause a couple issues. But you see this nice magazine. You can see the magnifier right there. Once again, port for blast effects. There you have your lasers and your stock and everything. Here we get this big suppressor built onto this one, a nice scope. All right, the foregrip. This is one I probably use more than the other ones. Actually, I kind of like both of these. I think these work for someone like, let's say, low light or one of your snipers. Even though this may not be a full sniper, we know snipers aren't always, you know, a mile away. Now we're going to get to the last things, and these are my favorite things that we have. And first, we'll take a look at these bad boys. So we have this bullpup here. All right, you can see how straight the weapons are. They do come out nice. Again, 3D printed weapons, especially sent in the heat, sometimes they tend to warp, so you just want to heat them up with some hot water and just kind of straighten them back and then hit them with cold water. It'll fix it. So you have your port for blast effects, and then you have your separate port for your blast effect for the actual grenade that it's shooting out. You can see the grip right there, magazine in the back. We get this here. It's like an AK style, I believe. I love the detail on the magazine. Up here, this seems so weird because it seems like you would have no stability in how you're going to fire this. But you can see there's the handle there. There's your trigger. I believe this is a built-in some sort of suppressor of some sort. But you can see all the stuff that's kind of just thrown up on top of it. To me, it becomes too much. But I don't have a problem with that because he's creating stuff that he's probably seen in the real world. This one here, this is my favorite. Has the long stock. You can see the way that it's going to extend out. You have the scope, and then you have the magnifier right there with your iron sight. There is your barrel, and then you're going to get your 203 nice magazine. So we can throw this in here. And you have that right there. Now this here is the same, should be the same one that we use for the grenade launchers there. And I already have a set. You can see the nice effect that's just kind of blasting out here. It's a clear plastic that he's using. And then you have the grenade. Now this actually might be in the way. But that slides in, and now you have your firing of your grenade. All of these fit in nice and easy. All right. So if you are doing photography or you just have a specific setup, you can have grenade launchers, which I know a lot of companies have put grenade launchers on some of them, but I haven't seen anybody do anything like this. All right. To the backpack. I was really surprised to see this. I really like this. This is a communications backpack. So when we look here, we have 3 different pouches. You can see the detail within the latches right here. All right, so we got these big pouches. You got the straps holding it down, and then you have your radio. So you have your bent antenna, and I love the way that it's folded over. All right. We have your radio, so you can talk. It does have a thin strap to it. Now, he does have to glue it on, so you do see a little bit of glue. My only complaint with this would be that there's really nowhere to put this. You kind of gotta have to tuck it behind him, which is fine. On the actual radio, well, you know what? Let's just pull it out. So this is cool. Like, you can pull the radio out and set it down, right? Set it down on the ground. Probably have to use some sticky tack to keep it down. But you got the 2 handles so you can pull it up. You got your little clamps here. There's your radio dials and everything. So to me, this is awesome. I love the way this looks. So now, unfortunately, some of the figures that it would be great for, Marvel Legends, they don't have holes in their backs. So here is one of the new G.I. Joe Troopers. Now the color is a little off. I think it might fit better with either Steeler or Short Fuse, but this thing is going to pop in there just like so. All right. And again, gonna have to tuck the radio down, and maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Again, I didn't serve, but when you look at that figure right there, that actually looks pretty good. You can't complain that he doesn't have, that it's just floating. It sits on there actually pretty nicely. That's the thing I was the most excited about. I opened it up, it was right on the top. So now as for weapons, well, kind of grab a couple of these weapons here. Let's see how this works. Now this has kind of a long stock. So the one thing about action figures is they're plastic. So you can only do so much when it comes to posing them. All right. So with him here, you know, you might struggle a little bit to get that hand. I guess it does work. All right. So we throw this blast effect right in there. And now I have like a nice customizable figure for a perfect green shirt that, again, we'll probably start to see them going on, not on clearance just yet or on sale, but give it a little bit of time. These are going to be your army builders. So now you've made just this basic figure, and for a couple more dollars, you've added a nice backpack to them with a radio, I believe this is an M platform or an AR platform with a 203 right there. All right. As for our Operation Monster Force, he already has a smaller weapon. So you know what? Let's grab a smaller weapon for him. And if you hear that, that is our friend Roman, my little puppy. All right. So we got the foregrip right here. Now his hand has already been kind of extended, but you can see exactly how well that actually works. So they fit perfectly in the Operation Monster Force. You see about something a little bit different. Grab this bad boy. All right. Now, the one thing when it comes to any figures and any type of grips here, if the grips are smaller than what the figure might have had, the gun that he was holding before, what you're going to see is a stretched out hand. So heat it up, close it, and then cool it. But you can see how it looks here on an Operation Monster Force figure. I can grab this guy here. I think he's absolutely perfect to have a weapon like this. Get rid of his little small gun here. If you don't have any of these Operation Monster Force figures, do yourself a favor. Pick a couple up. Have some fun with it. Now, they do come with C-grip hands, which may work a little bit better. These are some really small foregrips. But as you can see, I will push it over here, I guess. You can still make this work. Alright. So there's your Operation Monster Force figures with it. Let's grab our Punisher, our Marvel Legends. Now he already is using one. So this is the type of foregrip that I was talking about. I really don't like them. I understand that's realistic, but when it comes to actual action figures, they struggle to have their hand on it properly because they can only move so many ways. But let's be honest, this is the Punisher, and he's probably going to have something like this. Alright, so we can throw this on him. And if you don't have these figures, do yourself a favor. Try and find them on sale. I don't think you will regret getting these bucks. I have both of these Punishers. The Gamerverse and the all-black Screaming Face. And usually they stand pretty well. Unfortunately, I'm trying to get it to pose a little differently. And before anyone wonders why you do stuff like this, I want to show you how difficult or how easy things are to pose. Almost on towards the crease. How easy they are to pose right out of the box. Are you going to struggle with these weapons? Alright. As for our police officer right here. Alright. Let's be honest, this guy has a lot of stuff. And I was talking to the sheriff the other day. And it was driving me nuts because they keep their tasers right there. And unfortunately, you can't put the taser up there. I really wish Hasbro would have fixed that, because I couldn't stop looking at where the taser was at. And I'm like, oh, I want the taser up there. Because now it's driving me nuts. Alright, so one of the things is I don't have too many weapons that really fit a police officer, but we do see some SWAT using weapons like this. So what we do is kind of throw the SWAT helmet on him. I think I gotta pop the head off, don't I? I forget how I did this before. I know this may be an easier way. Ooh, I actually caught it. Anyway, I know this video is going long. I just kind of want to show you how everything works. So there you go. There is a SWAT officer with a perfect, I think, SWAT weapon. He got the helmet. And I have asked John, I said, why don't you put together an actual SWAT package? Maybe he actually will. That would actually be pretty cool. So, all right. And then the last one, I know I have a lot of other figures up here. Let's just grab an a Skeletron figure. All right, I grabbed the Jungle Wolf. If you don't have any of these, head on over to Skeletron.com. You are not going to, you're not going to be disappointed. At least I don't think that you will be. So, we'll take something like this. Got this big drum barrel. And see how he looks firing it. So this kind of fits his aesthetic. No problem. And yes, if you're wondering about the Skeletron figures, the helmets do come off. Alright. Take this stupid backpack off. Put the helmet back on. So, that is a look at all of the weapons. I really didn't plan on going through all of them, but I did. I've made this video way longer than I had planned. But anyone that is used to the channel, they know that, hey, this is what you do. But you kind of got to see how everything looks. You got to see how the backpack goes, along with the grenade launcher and the effect. And then you got to see it on all the other figures. I don't collect Valorverse, so I did not have a Valorverse figure to put up here. But let's be honest, you looked at Marvel Legends, Skeletron, Operation Monster Force, Classified, you know they're going to look proper on them. So anyway, let's wrap this up so you can go on with your day and head on over to Top Fun Toys and use my code PUNKWithToys and save 10%. All right, so there you go. That is the review and look at some of the Top Fun Retro 3D Top Fun Retro Toys 3D.com weapons. There's the backpack, the grenade launcher, the AR platform. Again, I really like this stuff. I have so many weapons I don't even know what to do with. It doesn't matter what brand they're from. I have people that send me weapons. I'm talking about guys like Tony's Figs and Cage's Customs, to other ones that I've purchased, right? So I just love having these different weapons. I love doing different photography. Whether or not if my photography is good or not, it's something that I consider playing with my toys. This enhances what you may be doing. And if it doesn't, again, if it doesn't do anything for you, then just stick with the weapons that Classified gives you. Marvel Legends, Operation Monster Force, Skeletron, whatever, right? Like, you don't have to change it. This is for people who want to expand on what they're already doing. But I'm going to get out of here. You spent a lot of time with me. I will leave a link to Top Fun in the description. Use my code PUNKWithToys and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Who doesn't like to save a little bit of money these days? I know I do, but I'm going to get out of here. But you stayed this long, so please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop some sort of 3D weapons or weapons packs or anything like that. But you're probably thinking, hey, I saw some of that other stuff that you've done, the other stuff you showed off, that spam thing and that AK. Do you have any videos like that? Well, you're in luck right here. I'll drop one of those videos, and down here will be a playlist of all the accessory packs and stuff like that that I've done. Take care.